Good evening, everyone. We are delighted to welcome you all to today's sanitary webinar on the science of sleep, why rest is essential. He is Mr. Gaius Ufondu, a volunteer at ADOR, and he will be hosting this session today. ADOR is a global youth initiative that focuses on empowering individuals through volunteer-led programs and sessions. Our aim is to spread knowledge, inspire change, and motivate youth for positive actions. It is our great pleasure to have Mr. Ufondu with us, who is a data analyst, mentor, and speaker. We request everyone to kindly switch on their cameras for a more interactive session. And if you haven't yet registered, please use the link in the chat. Without further ado, let's begin this exciting and insightful session.
Hi, good afternoon or good evening, everyone. My name is Gaius Ufondu, and I'm from Nigeria. I'm a data analyst, a mentor, I'm a global speaker, and I'm very well honored. I'm very delighted to be in your midst here today. I want to thank the adult team for the motivation to the youths, for the positive action, for everything. It's on a global scale, so I'm very much appreciative of this fact. I am very honored to speak before you today, and it is with more joy in my heart that I stand before you today to present this small. It's looking very, when I was thinking about the topic, looking very, inconsequential, like very minute, something people look down on, and but yet it affects a majority of the population in our world today. So today we're going to be talking about sleep. Sleep, just sleep. What sleep is all about, what it entails, the effect in your body, the hormonal relationship between sleep and your health, your health benefits to sleep, the dangers of not getting enough sleep. Because most people, most youth today, in their quest for success, in their quest for a better life, their daily bread, so to say, they they just don't get enough sleep, and it's affecting their general health. So today I'll be discussing the science of sleep, why sleep is essential. Because if you don't know why it's essential, you won't take it serious. Sleeping is just not, it's not just, you go to bed 6 hours a day, 8 hours a day. You don't know the rudiments of sleep and how it affects your psychology, how it affects your hormonal balance. So that's what we're going to be talking today. And I want you, everyone, to work with me as we dive in the world of sleep. I'll be sharing my screen with everyone. Just give me 30 seconds max to share my screen. But before we continue, I would just like to hear from everyone. I believe it's an interactive session. I just want to know, what are the little things you know about sleep? What do you know about sleep? What have you heard? What are the myths you've heard about sleep? What do you think sleep is all about? Is it just a daily activity? Is it a traditional thing we do as humans, that we go to bed, we wake up every day? And I just want to, okay, I was asking if anyone has anything to share with us about sleep. What do you know? What are the myths you've heard about sleep? Just a bit of introduction while I share my slide. What are the myths you've heard about sleep? What do you think? Do you think oversleeping is very good for your health? Should there be a balance between good sleep and oversleeping? Is there anything like oversleeping? Just an introduction. What I want to check our ideas, what we know already about sleep before we start for today.
Sure, sir. So basically, my idea of sleep is that we need sleep so that our body can recover from all the tiredness and activity we did the whole day, so that we can get a fresh start for the another day when we wake up in the morning, basically. And if we have a bad sleep cycle, we may not be able to function properly during the entire day. So I guess sleep is kind of important for a human. Otherwise, we will be just sleeping the whole day while walking, eating, or doing any kind of activity. So, according to me, sleep is important for body to function properly.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, sleep is essential. After work is done, after your daily activities, it is good to get rest. It's good to get rest. Thank you so much for that. So let's start without much further ado. Let's start. So this is we want to understand the critical role of sleep in our health and our performance as humans. I hope you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir, screen is visible.
All right. So we're talking of the science of sleep. We're not just talking about sleep as a psychological thing, as a traditional thing. We're looking at the science behind it. So to introduce to us, we will be talking about what sleep is. As one of the listeners said, sleep is something that is essential. You can't go a day without sleeping. After your day's work and everything, it is important to get enough sleep. Sleep is not just a traditional thing. Sleep is a fundamental biological process. Sleep is very essential. All living things must take a form of rest. Even viruses. Viruses have phases where they are inactive for some time before they become active when they're in living medium. So, as humans, because of our body, the kind of body we have, it wears out. Cells die. So, when you work out and strain these cells, you tend to need rest. And the essence of sleep is for you to restore your health, to restore yourself. That's why whenever you have light headaches, you have even you are emotionally down. Once you sleep, you restore yourself. Sleep has a restoration effect on our body. So it should not be overlooked. You cannot take away the importance of sleep. Sleep is very important. Also, is sleep is essential for our mental and our physical well-being. People just tell you that sleep so that you have good mental health and all of that, but sleep is essential for your physical well-being. So this presentation, what we are looking at today is just in 5 facets. We are looking at the functions, we're looking at the stages, we're looking at the benefits and impacts of sleep on our health, on our performance, on our daily lives, how sleep affects us, how it benefits us, what are the stages, how do you fall into sleep, and how sleep can affect your daily lives, and how to get more and more sleep. At the end of this presentation, I'll be giving recommendations on how to get good and effective sleep. So moving on, we are looking at what is sleep. What is sleep? What do you think sleep is? Sleep is a natural and recurring state during which your body enters a state of relaxation. There is some people will say that sleeping is like when you are half dead, and it's the truth because your body is at a state of rest, a relaxation phase. And once you are in that relaxation phase, your responsiveness to anything happening around you has been reduced drastically. If you are awake, you know when someone walks in, you know when the light is on, you know when something is going on around you. But once you fall into sleep, your responsiveness, your reaction to your external factors or external stimuli has been drastically reduced. What is sleep? Sleep is a recurring state, is recurring. It's not something you do once and you don't do again for a very long time. It has to happen daily. That's why doctors, physicians will recommend you sleep 8 hours per night daily, not something you do. And one thing you cannot do, you cannot sleep 32 hours today in a bid to work for the rest of the week. I don't know if you are getting me. There's no way you can sleep for 32 hours today and say, I've slept my sleep for the week. You don't forward date your sleep. It's not done that way. That is why it is recurring. It's a daily thing. One function of sleep is that, as I said, it helps physical health. But the most important thing that it helps is your brain function. The brain function is important to our general health status. Now, sleep provides time for recovery. It resets biological processes. That's why when you wake up, you feel refreshed. If you sleep, it's just like setting back your body to ground zero. Let's start afresh. That's what it means. That's why whenever you sleep, you feel a sense of refreshment. You feel relaxed and you feel energized. So moving on, let's talk about the sleep cycle. Sleeping, sleep, or rather sleep, it's takes place in two phases or two main stages. And these stages are what I call non-REM sleep and REM sleep. The REM there stands for rapid eye movement. Rapid eye movement. That's what the REM stands for. Rapid eye movement. So the I'll be talking about the REM movement and the REM movement and the non-REM sleep. But a complete sleep cycle takes approximately 90 minutes. It takes 90 minutes and it consists of these two stages. So you can't sleep for less than 90 minutes and say you've had sleep. I'll hear people say, let me take a short nap. And what's the short nap? 30 minutes rest. No, that's not sleep. You just say you had a nap. You can't sleep. You can't say you have slept if you've not slept for at least 90 minutes because a complete sleep cycle takes approximately 90 minutes. And this thing, if the sleep cycle, it goes into 4 to 6 phases. And the higher the phase, the deeper you go. That is why if you sleep for 30 minutes, you'll be easier to wake. When you sleep for 1 hour, like you're sleeping for 1 hour, it's much harder to wake you up. Once you progress into 1 hour, 30 minutes sleep, it's much harder to wake you up. So the more we progress into these cycles of sleep, the more difficult it is to be woken up. So sleep progresses deeper as you go, and with each cycle going deeper, it brings more restoration, like you feel more refreshed. So understanding all these concepts is important to know what sleep is all about. So let me continue. Let's talk about the non-REM sleep stage. The REM, as I said, is a rapid eye movement. The rapid eye movement. The non-REM sleep is the very first stage of sleep. And as I said, it has specific functions and it has 3 stages. The first stage, as we have here on the slides, said the light sleep where drifting in and out occurs, where your muscles relax. By then, you start to relax your muscles. You still know what's going on around you, but your muscles are relaxing. Your muscles are relaxing. Light sleep begins to set in. You drift in and out. You just hear your friend whispering. You hear your neighbor making some noise. You wake up. You are still conscious of what's going on around you. So that is the first stage. Light sleep starts. Stage 2, we have the onset of a deeper sleep. Stage 2, as I said, the deeper you go, the higher the stage, the more harder it is for you to be waking up. So the deeper you go in your sleep. Stage 2, your heart rate and your body temperature begins to drop. We did back then in my institution, my high institution, there's something we did. We checked the blood pressure and the heart rate of someone that is sleeping. And you will notice for a fact that it's always lower than the average. Very, very low. It drops because there is no muscle spasms. Your muscle is relaxing. Your blood pressure begins to flow normally. There is no tension on your heart. So everything is like you're in a state of sleep and you're a step deeper in your sleep. So your temperature begins to drop. Your heart rate begins to drop. The third stage of this non-rapid eye movement sleep is the deep sleep. And if you don't get to this stage in your sleep cycle, you will not feel restored physically. Because this is the stage where physical restoration start to happen, immune function start to happen, and your energy conservation start to happen. This is deeper than stage 1 and stage 2. So stage 3, that's why it is recommended that for you to get good sleep, you need to have slept for 90 minutes at least. For 90 minutes. And this stage 3, to get to this stage, you need to go progressively from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3. Stage 3 is where deep sleep starts. It is essential for physical restoration. Moving on to the rapid eye movement sleep. This, this rapid eye movement, this is the stage where most of our dreaming occurs. I don't know how many of us dream when we sleep. The dreaming, the I won't say hallucination or vision or whatever, it occurs in this phase. That's why you cannot sleep a shallow sleep and expect to dream. For you to dream or have a nightmare, you need to have slept deep. You need to get to the rapid eye movement stage. So this is the stage where most dreaming occurs. Here, the brain is very active. It is the most active part of the body at this stage. And it's almost as active as when you are awake. Your brain begins to function. That's why dreams is your brain activity. When you dream, it is your activity of your brain. So at this stage is when your brain starts to become very active, almost as active as when you're awake. This particular stage, this REM sleep, is crucial for emotional regulation, learning, improving learning, processing cognitive functions, and consolidation of memory. This part for the REM sleep is very important. In fact, the more rapid eye movement sleep you give yourself every night, the longer your lifespan. Research has shown. So if you sleep, let me paint a picture. Someone that sleeps 8 hours straight up, or he sleeps from 12 and wakes up 8 a.m. is better than someone that sleeps 2 hours in four stages a day. Let me go again. It is better to sleep for 8 hours at a stretch than sleeping for 2 hours 4 times a day. I don't know if you got me. That's to show you the essence of sleep. If you don't sleep deep, you won't get to this rapid eye movement stage. And this part is important and necessary for emotional regulation, and learning. Now, we are looking at the sleep cycle overview. This is just a graphical representation of what I've been talking about. 70%, as we have here on the slide, 70% of all our sleeps, they are the non-REM stages. So the process of falling into sleep is taking 70% because all those are classified under non-rapid eye movement stages. While 30% of the sleep is under the rapid eye movement stage. And as I said, the name is rapid eye movement. So it is characterized by rapid eye movement and dreaming. Dreaming occurs because of your brain's neurological activity. As I said, the function or the activity of the brain in this phase, in this REM state, is increased. So you tend to have more brain activity than when you are in non-rapid eye movement stage. So it is 70-30. But to get to that 30% is harder. You need to sleep deep. Let me go over what I said again. Sleeping for 8 hours at a stretch is better than sleeping for 2 hours four times a day. Moving on, we have the benefits of sleep. Most people just think sleeping is a traditional thing. It's something that is rudimentary. You have to do because we are tired. But you need to know the benefits. What role does sleeping do in your life, in your overall health, in your mental clarity and physical health? What is the essence or the benefits of sleep? So sleep supports physical health. That you are healthy, you are agile, you feel strong is because you are getting enough sleep. Once over time you start getting poor sleep, you tend to feel more weak. So it plays a major role in maintaining overall health. Sleeping is also important in immune function. It helps to repair muscles because you remember in our slide 3 thereabouts, I said something that during the non-rapid eye movement stage, the first stage, the muscles start to relax. So your muscles can't repair themselves without relaxation. If your muscles are always strained, they're always stretched, they are not relaxed, there will be no muscle repair. So if you're an athlete, you do more of physical activity, you need to sleep more because sometimes muscle spasms, muscle pull or whatever, you need to sleep because it is during this phase that these muscles repair themselves. It will facilitate the muscle repair. So getting enough sleep is good for muscle repair. It's good for growth and immune function. The second thing is mental health. Once you get good sleep, it reduces stress. Not only does it reduce stress, it improves your mood. I don't think I don't know for anyone, but I'm speaking for myself. When I wake up, I feel good because that's the essence of sleep. It just enhances your emotional stability. You feel better. There's no how you sleep angry and wake up angry, ex- except you're a bitter person, of course. There is no way you sleep angry, wake up angry. It works on your mental health. So for good mental health, take good sleep, adequate sleep. Sleeping also helps with cognitive function. Sleeping strengthens memory. This is important for children. It is advised that whatever or whoever you have in your house that is a child that is below the age of 12 years should take at least 10 to 12 hours of sleep. It is necessary for brain function of a child. It helps to strengthen the memory. So if you don't know this information, once you have a child, you'll be okay if your child is not getting enough sleep, but it's erroneous. Sleeping aids learning. It also boosts problem-solving abilities. You cannot deprive yourself of sleep and expect yourself to give 100% in your work. You cannot. You cannot. So sleeping is very important. It helps to strengthen your memory. Let's go to the next slide. Let's look at the relationship or the influence with sleep and brain health. How does sleep affect your brain health? Remember I said something that when you are in a REM stage, that's the rapid eye movement stage, your brain activity increases. You might ask, but if our brain activity is increased, how is our brain taking rest? That was when I was doing this research. I started asking myself, if the brain activity is increased in the rapid eye movement stage, how is it taking rest? Because the activity is increased. So how how then is it resting? So let's look at the effect of sleep in our brain health. During sleep, your brain undergoes what we call the cleanup process. You see, there's something magical about this brain of ours. The brain works in such a way that it doesn't perform its best when other organs are working with it. Because while speaking to you, there are some of the things I'm saying, if not everything I'm saying, both my reflexes, they are being controlled by my brain. They are controlled by my brain. So my brain cannot clean up when it is busy tending to actions. It is busy tending to reflexes. It is busy tending to other things like physical activity, thoughts of what to eat, how to address matters. So our brain is busy all day in, day out. The only time the brain has to release toxins that it has accumulated over time during the day is during sleep. That is the only time. So the more you deprive yourself of sleep, the more toxins accumulate in our brain. And so if you want to torture a man, keep him away for 3 days. That's enough torture because once the toxins pile up over there in your head, it causes troubles. It is associated with Alzheimer's and all of that. So it is essential to sleep. Sleeping is the only time, I said again, sleeping is vital because that is when your brain or our brain cleans up toxins and removes toxins that have accumulated during the day. So this nightly cleansing of the brain, it reduces the risk of cognitive decline. Neurons fly out in our brains daily, day out. There are more than 1 billion neurons in our nerve endings in our body. So for efficient neurons and then synapse dispersion, whatever they call it in the health world and all of that, you need to have a very good sleep cycle. It helps to improve our cognitive cognition or cognitive. So you cannot improve your brain health without getting adequate sleep. So that is the essence of sleeping. So if you are asked one day that why do you take enough sleep? It's because of your brain. Sleeping is so important. I just really hope we are following. Sleeping is so important. This nightly cleansing of our brain to remove toxins that have accumulated during the day, it reduces the risk of cognitive decline. You tend to think sharply. We are now we are not dull. Your senses are at a very peak volume. So you cannot get to this phase without getting good sleep. Moving on to the next slide. Sleeping and learning. What's the relationship between sleeping and learning? For mothers out there, for people with taking care of children, taking care of teenagers, you have a teenager in your home, you need to know this. You need to know this that sleeping is critical in our memory function and in our brain and our learning. When you sleep or when we sleep, the brain it consolidates new information. It consolidates new information. It gathers them. It strengthens our neural pathways. It helps to improve remembrance. You tend to remember more when you get good sleep. But when you start depriving yourself of sleep, you find it hard to retain anything. You read for students, for graduates, for anyone listening to me that is a student in the house, you tend to have better retentive memory when you get good sleep. So if you are preparing for exam, a night before you should sleep. See, the key thing is to remember what you have read. It's not by amassing every knowledge in the world, bringing it to your head and saying you want to remember this. Even a night to your exam, you are still reading. You need to sleep. To aid effective remembrance, you need to get adequate sleep. It strengthens the neural pathways. That is the relationship between sleep and learning. So let's move on to immune system. You might ask, what is the relationship between sleeping and my immune system? My immune system is controlled by my brain. So how come would I sleep and will help my immune system? Now, as I said, sleeping, it helps the brain to remove toxins from the body, from the brain that has accumulated throughout the day. Now, adequate sleep helps to boost immune function. It will help to, during the sleep phase, it will produce cells and antibodies that fight off germs, that fight off toxins, that fight off unwanted bodies. This is the phase where it mass produces this infection fighting cells. This is the phase during the sleep. So if you don't sleep, your immune system will not release some proteins like cytokinins that we have here. And these cytokines or cytokinase, as you prefer to pronounce it, it helps to combat infection. It's a very good immune booster. It helps to combat infection and inflammation over time. However, um, too much of sleep is not bad. Along the line, we'll talk about that, but let's continue. Sleep deprivation, once you deprive yourself of sleep, it will lower your immune response and to make your body vulnerable to illness. So all these little things we are talking about today is essential. Not just taking antibiotics, not just taking fruits. You need to give yourself enough sleep because it is during the phase of sleep your brain can coordinate toxins and remove them out of your brain and other parts of your body. Detoxification, if you might prefer to call it that. So depriving yourself of good sleep makes you more vulnerable to illnesses. Let's talk about the giant in the room, emotional well-being and sleep. This is the giant in the room for me because I feel like you cannot have good emotional well-being if you don't get enough sleep. Your mental health will be degraded if you don't get enough sleep. You will have more stress, anxiety, even flaring up. You start flaring up when it's not supposed to. You start having mood swings once you don't get enough sleep. So to get emotional stability, sleeping is crucial. According to study, lack of sleep is linked to increased stress. There was a study they did. I forgot it. Sorry, I didn't add it in the slide. But while doing my research, a study was done that they brought up people that tend to have stress, anxiety. Um, they have this, like say, mood swings. Let me put it that way. They brought all of them together. They did the study, the number of sleep they had, compared to those that are they don't have as much stress, as much anxiety. It is discovered that a majority of those people that have this stress and anxiety, they get very little rest or sleep. So sleeping is linked to these things. You need to increase your sleep adequately to reduce stress and anxiety. Sleeping also affects our mood regulation. So you can see three phases now. Sleeping is not just your physical well-being, your physical, your mental, and your emotional well-being. A person that rests more is equipped to manage stress than someone who does not. Mood swing, flaring up, irritability, it's linked to lack of sleep. Once you don't get enough sleep, it increases your anxiety, it increases your depression and all of that. So let's move on because of our time. Let's talk about the heart. the relationship between sleep and your heart health. Relationship between sleep and your heart health. Okay, we have here quality sleep supports cardiovascular health. Um, okay, let me just share this with us. Um, I was quickly just on a lighter note. I think then I was in secondary school, and I was being taught something about sleep and rest and all of that. Then, my curious self, I asked my teacher then, I was like, if the brain, if the brain and the heart are very active organs of the body, during sleep, which one of them takes the most rest? And the reply I got from the teacher then still sticks to me. It's still sticking to me till now. I still remember what he said. During sleep, it reduces, I said something in slide 3. I said once you start sleeping and you've gotten deeper in that sleep, it reduces your heart rate. It reduces the pressure on the heart. Imagine the heart is the engine of the body. Quite all right. But that sometimes you need to cut some slack for this engine. The heart of the heart rate of an active human is higher than that of a sleeping human. So to give yourself or give your heart rest, you need to take good sleep. You need to get good sleep. It reduces regulate your blood pressure. It helps to reduce your inflammation, it balance stress hormone, it increases cardiovascular health, and all of that. So if you don't get enough sleep, is a damage or is a danger to the heart health. So all these things I mentioned there, inflammation of the heart, blood pressure, stress hormones, and all of that, all these things are recipe for cardiovascular diseases. So to get good heart health, to get good cardiovascular health, you need to take enough sleep. Quality sleep supports this. It supports it. Chronic sleep disruption can increase the risk of heart disease and stroke. That's why it is advisable for those that have the traces of stroke or they once had stroke before. The doctors would advise them to take adequate sleep. Always sleep very well. So before we move into the benefits and effects, let's talk about the hormonal balance. I won't waste much time on these slides. The sleep regulates hormones in our body like cortisol and insulin. You know what insulin does? Insulin helps to reduce sugar in the body. Our liver produces two hormones, insulin and glucagon. So this sleep regulates these hormones like cortisol and insulin. And one thing insulin does is to regulate the blood sugar. So you can imagine not taking enough sleep. How your body regulate this insulin that will regulate the blood sugar. And you know that if your blood sugar is not regulated, it increases sugar level of the body that can cause diabetes, that can even cause heart attacks and all of that. So you can see the relationship between sleep is like the bedrock of all these things. So if you want to prevent diabetes, you want to prevent heart diseases, you want to prevent obesity, you need to get enough sleep. It's sleep that regulates the hormones that are responsible for that which controls this the hormones that controls these things I'm talking about. So let's talk about the effect of sleep deprivation. If you deprive yourself of too much of a good sleep, let me put it that way, what are the effects? What are the things that will happen? Because if you don't know the dangers, you can't even if you don't know the dangers, you won't be mindful of the risk that are there. So the first one we have here is impaired cognitive function. Impaired cognitive function. You don't think well, your mind is not together, your thinking is now shabby, you tend to forget things than before, like your remembrance rate is now lower than it used to be. Your retentive memory has waned down. Sleep affect these things. And one thing to know the effect of sleep deprivation, how you know you've been depriving yourself of too much of good sleep, is impaired cognitive function. Impaired cognitive function. The second one is weakened immunity. If you're always susceptible to diseases, illnesses, you know that you're not getting good sleep. Small headaches here and there, dehydration, or what they call it, anxiety, stress, and all of that, stress disorder, is because of lack of sleep. Increased risk of mental health disorder is one effect too. Another effect is it will give you it increases the chances of chronic illnesses like hypertension, the effect of sleep deprivation. We stop that effects of sleep. Is my screen visible? I just want to know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is.
All right, all right, all right. So, as I was saying, these are the effects of sleep deprivation. We have impaired cognitive function, weakened immunity, and increased rate of mental health disorder, higher chances of developing chronic illnesses like hypertension and diabetes. Let's get to the more fun part of the presentation. We are looking at the the next slide, which is sorry. Okay, I think sleep disorders. Let's look at sleep disorder. Here we have this is a table of right on my screen. It's a table of sleep disorders, their description and their impact. The first sleep disorder is common amongst many middle-aged people. It's called insomnia. Insomnia is the difficulty of falling asleep or staying asleep. It is not just the difficulty of falling into sleep, but the difficulty of staying in that sleep for a long period or for the required time. And the impact of this disorder is chronic fatigue, irritability. The next one we have here is sleep apnea. I don't know how many of us know this. This is breathing interruption during sleep. Sleep apnea is for those that are conversant with let's say snoring and all of that. Once you have breathing interruptions during sleep that tend to wake you up, it's called sleep apnea. And the impact it has is daytime drowsiness and also causes heart issues. We also have restless leg syndrome. This restless leg syndrome is the urge to move legs during sleep. Some people don't know how to stay or sleep like in a single position and wake up in that same position. They tend to throw their legs all about. I don't know if you are friends of that or we do that during our sleep. While growing up, most young people have this restless leg syndrome. Then we tend to grow out of it or grow beyond it and all of that. So it is the urge to move legs during sleep. This is a disorder because once you start moving legs, it tends to disrupt sleep patterns. By the time you kick your leg, you move your leg or your body, and it disrupts sleep pattern and it causes fatigue because that would not enable us to get good sleep. The last one we have here is narcolepsy. Narcolepsy. Narcolepsy is excessive daytime sleepiness. Sleepiness. You are in the bus, you are even driving, you are sleeping, you know, sleep sickness. You are doing something active, you are cooking and sleeping. Some people stand and sleep. It's a disorder because it increases the risk of accidents and awareness issues. They are not focused because whatever anytime they're in a lecture or as students and there's not much activity going on, boom, they started sleeping. So excessive daytime sleeping is a disorder. These are the recommendations we have here for sleep. What are you ask? Okay, what is the right amount of time to sleep a day, and how should it be done so that it doesn't become excessive? The recommended sleep it varies by age. You can't be sleeping the same time a child is sleeping. As I said, children should be given at least 9, 10 to 12 hours per night. Per night. I want to correct a notion that the average time for adult sleep or the average recommended sleep time for adults is 7 to 9 hours per night, not per day. It is per night. So even if you rested for 2 hours during the day, you should still rest or sleep for 7 to 9 hours per night. You ask, what's the difference between day and night? There's a big difference. The night is only when you can have this long sleep. And if you remember what I said in the beginning of this presentation, I said that sleeping 8 hours at a stretch is better than sleeping for 2 hours 4 times a day. So if you've had 2 hours sleep during the day, you should still sleep for 8 hours per night, that night. So I guess I've corrected that notion. For teenagers, we should sleep 8 to 10 hours per night. Teenagers should sleep 8 to 10 hours. While children should take the highest. Sleep is essential for their psychological functions, their neurological health, their learning process, and their cognitive health. Children should sleep for 9 to 12 hours per night. These are the sleep recommendations we have. Now let's go to the sleep hygiene practice. What is a good sleep hygiene? What should we do? How can you enable yourself sleep more? If you have difficulty sleeping, what should you do? The first thing you should do is you have a consistent sleep schedule. If it's every 9 p.m., I should be in bed, so that your body, your brain will be accustomed to that time. Whenever it's that time, you sleep off. While growing up, I think for my mom, my mother has this I don't know, it's like her brain has already intertwined with that. Once it's 9 p.m., she's off. So even if she's doing something active or whatever she's doing, and it's 9 p.m., she starts feeling sleepy. Why should you have a consistent sleep schedule? You should have a consistent sleep schedule to improve your sleep health. Because once every 9, you start sleeping every 9, your brain will get accustomed to it that this time is the time for your sleep. So there will be no day you will have difficulty sleeping. Even days where you are down, days where you've lost appetite, you are mourning the death of a loved one. Once it's that time, because your brain has gotten used to that thing, has gotten accustomed to it, you tend to fall asleep. So having a consistent sleep schedule is important. The next one is comfortable, dark, and quiet environment. Turn off the lights. Don't sleep with the lights on. It affects you. If you want to get good sleep, turn the lights off, or rather use a dim light, a quiet environment. You can't sleep. Can't sleep. You can't get to the rapid eye movement stage of a sleep if you are sleeping in a noisy environment. Limit caffeine. Stop taking alcohol. Taking caffeine only damages your kidney and your liver. It's not good for your health. The last thing to do is to reduce screen time before bed. Most of us, we are glued to our phones and we tend to check on this media, we tend to check on that before bed. Once your screen time is increased, sleeping will be difficult for you. The next one we have here is role of diet in sleep. You will how does food now affect our sleep and all of that? Once you take diet that is high in some metals or macronutrients like magnesium and potassium, it helps to promote sleep. Foods high in magnesium, foods high in potassium, not sodium, potassium, they help to promote sleep. Even tryptophan-rich foods can improve and promote better sleep. Also, eating balanced meals. Be intentional about your feeding. Don't just eat because you are hungry. Eat because you want to be healthy. You want to have all the nutrients you need. So avoid eating heavy food before bedtime. Enough of eating. That's why that is like say common African thing we say in Africa. I don't know how it is over the other parts of the world. We say eat like a king. Eat as much as you want during breakfast. Can eat the whole world if you want to. Eat like a king. Eat breakfast like a king. Eat lunch like a prince and dinner like a beggar. Your night food before sleep should be as light as possible. There's no point eating heavy food before sleep because you 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 deprive yourself of quality sleep. Let's go to the next one, exercise and sleep. This is essential for those that are very athletic. You're always moving your body here and there. Once you have intense physical activity, you need to take more sleep. If you're a footballer, you're an athlete, you walk around during the day, you move about more than an average human, you need to improve your sleep quality. And you cannot go and check footballers. Footballers we have today, they don't joke with their sleep time. In fact, their managers enforce them to sleep. Because if you don't get enough sleep, your muscles will not be refreshed enough to start a new match. Like you won't be as active as you were or as you used to be if you don't get enough sleep. So regular exercise, as you're exercising, always get enough sleep. Also, for those that don't do exercise, for those that don't always exercise, let's start to exercise our bodies because exercising our body it regulates sleep wake cycle and improves our sleep quality. The next one we're talking about is mindfulness and relaxation, like those that do yoga, meditation, deep breathing exercise. All these can reduce stress and improve your sleep quality because they are all centered at your nervous system, helping to relax your nerves because they are relaxation routines. Going to the yoga parlor, um, breathing techniques, relaxation techniques before bed, they facilitate sleep and the transition to sleep. The next one is technology and sleep. This thing, I think everyone should be guilty of this. I don't know how well we're glued to our phones, but let's reduce screen time and exposure to blue light. Blue light in the evening can disrupt your body's natural sleep cycle. You will notice that the time it takes you to fall asleep when you did not use your phone is shorter than when you use your phone before sleeping. Reducing screen time is essential for good sleep cycle. Also, exposure to blue light from screens can affect production of a sleep hormone called melatonin. That is why it is recommended and advised that everyone reduces screen time because it affects the production of that melatonin. Melatonin is a sleep hormone that facilitates sleep. It induces sleep faster. So thereby, if there's a situation where you don't have this hormone, there's no way you can fall asleep quickly. And if you don't fall asleep quickly, it will be done in no time, and you have to wake up to go to work again. So if you're having 4 hours sleep every day for 7 days, you're not getting good sleep. So let us minimize the screen time to avoid disrupting our sleep cycle. Next one is caffeine and sleep. As I've said, taking caffeine, it blocks some chemical. It's just very bad for our health. At least if you are to take caffeine, take it 6 hours before your bedtime. 6 hours before your bedtime. Caffeine is not advisable. Anywhere you go in the world, caffeine is not advisable. It's even if you have to take it, judiciously. Limit caffeine intake and take even if you are take it earlier in the day, 6 hours before your bedtime, so that doesn't affect your transitioning into sleep at night. This one we have here is alcohol and sleep. Alcohol and sleep. People believe that alcohol might help you fall asleep. It also it disrupts sleep cycle. Yes, you might be drowsy and fall asleep, but it disrupts sleep cycle. You wake up with the feeling of wanting to pee. It just disrupts the whole sleep cycle. It decreases sleep quality. And taking excessive alcohol, it will have adverse effect on your sleep, on your health, your physical health, your mental health, your psychological health, and all of that. So it should be taken in moderation. There should be moderation to it. So there's a relationship between alcohol and sleep. Once you take too much alcohol, you are depriving yourself of good sleep. What we have here, before I round up, we're going to be debunking some common myths we have about sleep. One of them is what I said. I said you cannot, there's no bank for sleeping. You cannot sleep for 32 hours today and say you slept for the week. There's no need for sleep. It doesn't work that way. It's a recurring thing. Something I said in the introduction. Sleeping is something that should be recurring. It's something that should be done every day, whether you are stressed out that day or not. Sleeping is essential. Sleeping is essential. I don't think there's a night anyone hardly sleeps. Even if it's important to sleep, sleeping is a daily something. So that myth of sleeping in advance is wrong. Some people believe that when you sleep 32 hours, you slept for 5 days, so you can work for 5 days without sleeping. That is very wrong. Well, the other one we have here is I can catch on sleep on the weekends. Depriving yourself of sleep throughout the week and saying you will rest in the weekend, that's very wrong and it should be stopped because it's affecting our head. As I said, during the REM sleep stage, sleeping helps remove toxins in our brain. So when you don't sleep, it means that the toxins will accumulate and pile up. And this is what leads to disease like Alzheimer's disease and all of that. So catching up of sleep on the weekend is wrong. That notion is very wrong. It's a common myth that is predominant even amongst the youth. The youth. So it should be known today that that's very wrong. Another one is I can function fine with less than 6 hours of sleep. Nobody can function fine with less than 6 hours of sleep. It will definitely catch up on you. One day you just be at work and you break down. Less than 6 hours of sleep at night is dangerous to our health and to have negative impact on our sleep. So these are the common myths we need to debunk. And going forward, I'll be concluding. So in my conclusion, let's not see sleep as something of luxury. You just want to do it because it's the traditional thing to do as humans. You work during the day, you sleep at night. It is a fundamental biological necessity. If you start seeing sleep in a different light, it changes your perspective of sleep. You start seeing sleep as something that needs to be done to improve your health mentally, psychologically, and physically. So, to improve your mental well being and your immune function, your emotional stability, sleeping is essential. If you want to have a productive life at work, you want to be among those that uh, have good or high cognitive function, very, very well active during the day. The key thing and the secret is getting enough sleep. So, sleeping and productivity, they are intertwined. Your productivity cannot increase if you don't increase your sleep time or your rest time. And let me use the opportunity to thank everyone that tuned in to listen. Thank you for exploring the science of sleep with me. And I'm glad that I had audience today and there are people willing to listen. Thank you for this opportunity, Ador. Thank you for giving this platform to motivate youth, to empower them with this knowledge. And thank you for listening. I just want to appreciate the team for bringing this up. It is not an easy feat. It's something that takes dedication and hard work. So thank you all. Thank you. And I
So there is a question in the chat box.
you said how does physical activity or exercise impact sleep quality and duration? That's a very good question. Is my screen still visible? Let me read the question again.
Yes, sir, your
All right,
screen is
cool.
still visible.
All right, very good. I won't be needing my screen for this anyways. Um, how does physical activity or exercise impact sleep quality? Now, there's a thin line between exercising and overworking yourself. Sleep quality is gotten by good exercise. So if you are the type that you don't get enough sleep, you'll be obese, and obesity affects sleep quality. So to improve your brain function, once your brain is in a very good state, it helps the transition into sleep. And to improve your brain function, your heart rate, you need to take exercises. Do you understand? You need to exercise your body. A doctor will tell you if you want to regulate your blood pressure very well, even if you have heart problems or whatever, yes, exercise. That's the advice they'll give you. They'll tell you to exercise. So once you have good brain function when you exercise, and you have good heart health, that's cardiovascular health when you exercise, sleeping becomes like very easy for you to do. So your sleep is dependent, your good quality sleep is dependent on your heart health and your brain function. So talking about the duration, as I was saying, the duration, it comes from the stages we have. I said that we have two stages of sleep. It's the non-REM sleep stage and the REM sleep stage. The REM is REM. It's an abbreviation that stands for rapid eye movement. REM stands for rapid eye movement. So in the first stage of the sleep, it's in 3 cycles. And the more you go deep in the cycle, the deeper your sleep. So the first stage is when your muscles start to relax and you start falling lightly into sleep and all of that. So duration is important. You can't sleep for less than 90 minutes and expect yourself to get to stage three. And stage three is when cognitive, when your neurons, when your psychological, your neurological functions begin to happen. As I said about the brain, if you recall, I said that the brain does something called cleanup during our sleep. So if you're not getting enough sleep, when would your brain have time for all this? So your brain does cleanup, and it won't have time for this if you don't sleep long. So it is better, duration is important because it is better to sleep for 9 hours on end, like at a stretch, than sleeping for 2 hours 4 times a day. The deeper you sleep, the better for you. So duration is very important. The second question we have here is, how does sleep deprivation affect the body in short term versus the long term? Okay. How does sleep deprivation affect the body? You ask, in the short term versus the long. So we'll start with talking about the short term against the long term. Once you deprive yourself of sleep, the short term you feel no just little stress, maybe flaring up. You tend to flare up about little things. You become more and more stressed. That's when you deprive yourself of good quality sleep. But on the long run, once it's a consistent thing that you keep depriving yourself sleep weeks on end, it's something you do every week, it will affect your brain function. And that's what even leads to Alzheimer's syndrome. So if you deprive yourself of sleep, and sleep is the only time when your brain has to do some cleanup of toxins in your brain, when would your brain do the cleanup? So these toxins will pile up in your brain and cause neurological disorder and all of that. So on the long run, it's very detrimental to our health. The third question we have here is, why is sleep considered important for maintaining a healthy weight? Let me go to our slides. I want to show us something. All right. So look at this. The question is, why is sleep considered important for maintaining a healthy weight? If you don't get good sleep, if you don't if you don't exercise, you will not get good sleep because obesity can impair good sleep. So sleeping is important for maintaining healthy weight because when you relax, your body removes toxins away from your brain removes toxins away from the body. It does like a detoxification and all of that. Your heart rate declines, your heart rate reduces, it helps to maintain and regulate your heart rate. So if you don't get good sleep, it will affect your health generally and even your weight. That's why there's a relationship between physical fitness and good sleep. For those that are athletes that play football, that do strenuous activities, they will advise them to take good sleep because of they overwork their body. But then if you don't even do any of those things, it is advisable to do these exercises so that you would have good heart health. And having a good heart health or brain health would help to improve your sleep. So if you want to maintain a healthy weight, you need to get good sleep. So it is considered important because of it improves good quality sleep. So if you don't, if you have, any obese friend, sleeping is difficult for most of them. Obesity is, let's say, is directly proportional to sleep disorder. You can't get good sleep once you are obese because when we sleep, the body activates or let's say releases this toxin, this hormone called insulin. And insulin, regulates the blood sugar. So if you don't sleep, how will the body now release this hormones, so to say? We have a question here. How does sleep impact learning and information retention? Sleep impacts learning because of the brain function. It improves brain function. And how it improves brain function Let me show you this thing that was said let me show you in our slides here. Let's go back to our reference where we have the sleep and the brain. Okay, it's on the slide, the sleep and brain health. As I have said, during sleep, the brain undergoes a vital cleanup process. And that cleanup process, it removes toxins that have accumulated during the day. So imagine not getting enough sleep. How would your body detoxify these toxins that have accumulated? The only time your brain has this opportunity is through sleep. I was saying something, I made a reference that during the day, your brain helps with decision making, tells you what to eat, reflex action, knee jerking, food digestion, because the brain controls digestion. Digestion is there, heart beating is there, blood circulation is there. It's doing so many things at a time. So there's no time for detoxification. There's no time for removal of toxins in the body. The only time your brain has this is during sleep. That is why you cannot sleep if you sleep with a very full belly, like you've eaten enough, once you wake up, you feel very, very hungry because when the brain was working, detoxifying all these things, it was increasing your digestion. And during digestion, you will have toxins to go to one part, then the digested food particles will go to another part. That's why once everyone wakes up, there's a need to go to the toilet, there's a need to use the restroom that morning because detoxification has taken place. So it impacts learning and information retention in the sense that once you sleep, you have good cognitive function. So it improves your brain health. That's why they advise children and teenagers to take good sleep. You cannot have exam by 9 p.m., by 9 a.m. tomorrow, and you are reading from 12 all through the night. Sleeping helps for remembrance. That's the cognitive function I was talking about. So it impacts learning. For a child that reads and reads and reads and reads without taking good rest or quality sleep, for the children or his friends that just read for 6 hours and take good sleep would remember most of the things they've read because their brains have rested. So remembrance or the quality of your remembrance is dependent on the quality of sleep you had the night before. So sleep, learning, and information retention, they go hand in hand. If you don't get enough sleep, you don't have good retention. And if you don't get enough sleep, your cognitive function will not be improved. So this is the relationship between sleep and effective learning.
Okay, thank you, sir. I do wanted to ask about, do you recommend people who can't sleep, using pills or something like that, the one who can't do the exercise and stuff? So, is taking pills and other kind of stuff for the sleep is good or bad?
Yeah,
Because some
that's
people
a very good
really do
question.
struggle with the sleeping.
Yeah, that's a very good question. For difficulty sleeping, for those that have difficulty sleeping, let me go to the slide where we have some sleep disorders for. I think someone joined us late. So right here, where we have the table with sleep disorders. Yeah, this is it. So for those that fall in these disorders that have difficulty sleeping, taking pills is advisable with doctor's prescription, of course. So self-medicating yourself to take pills to sleep would only make you and your body. There's something about the human body I love so much. It's adaptation. While I was doing my internship in the hospital in 2021, yeah, 2021, there was this, I worked in the pharmacy section. There's this drugs the doctor rather always prescribe for people that have difficulty sleeping. We have um what they call it. It's in the family of, is it, I've forgotten, but I remember before lorazepam, lexotan, diazepam. You see that they come in prescription. Some of them are 5 milligrams and all of that. The danger of using these pills is that they impair our let's say muscle function. So there is, I'm saying prescription because they have side effects. You can't take drugs like diazepam 5 milligram and you say you want to go and drive. you can't even be able to grip anything because it will affect all your muscle reflexes. So for those that have difficulty sleeping that are being assisted with pills, it is not bad. But now it is bad when it is done without the doctor's prescription, doing it on your own medication, your own volition and all of that. So it's important to take these pills with the oversight of a doctor or a physician.
Okay, so basically we need the doctor's prescription, otherwise it's kind of a drug which our body may get used to it and
Yes,
it may become
exactly.
bad for us as well.
Good. Yeah. Once you get used to it, once you take it this night, you take it tomorrow, you take it without doctor's prescription. Doctors might want you to take it just 5 times a week. That's 5/7. Take it just 5 times a week, and you stop. But once you don't know these things, yeah, there's no oversight of any physician. You take it every day. Once you stop taking it, or it has gone out of stock, you can't sleep without it because your body has adapted to this thing. So that is why prescription is important.
Also, sir, I have also one last question that whenever I try to sleep now, but like my mind is just not stable. The thoughts and every work that I have to do tomorrow. So just it's like my mind is just not stable at all whenever I try to sleep. So is there any way that I can find a way to stable my mind or make my mind in peace and all?
Okay, I would use myself an example. There was a period I had difficulty sleeping. When I'm about to sleep, I start thinking, what are my plans for tomorrow? What should I do today? How was today? How did it go? And my eyes are closed. I'm not on my phone. I'm trying to sleep, but then all these thoughts are coming up. What I do, what helps me out is I reduce screen time. I said that too much screen time will block the releasing of there's this hormone your body releases, melatonin. Melatonin helps to induce sleep. It helps to increase that transition between being awake and sleeping. So if you give yourself too much screen time, your eyes, you find it difficult to sleep. So reducing your screen time, reduction of caffeine. Don't take any product that has caffeine in it, especially 6 hours before you try to sleep. And eat good food. Like eat foods that are high in potassium, high in tryptophan rich foods, like foods that are very rich in potassium, tryptophan, and there's this other one I said, I've forgotten, it's in my slide. But foods that are rich in I think, yeah, it's magnesium. So foods that are rich in these nutrients will help induce sleep. It will help our brain function because without good brain activity, good brain function, we can't get good sleep. So um as I said, two things: reduce caffeine, reduce screen time, and proper meals. We are not just eating. If you treat our body as, we're not just doing this because it's the rule, it's the tradition. We are not eating because we just need to quench the hunger. We are eating this because of the nutrients we stand to gain, eating well. We are not just sleeping because it's a traditional thing. We are sleeping because there are benefits to sleeping and there are risks of not getting good quality sleep.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for the answer, sir. So I have taken that point that we need to eat healthy and light at the time of dinner, I guess, so that we can have a proper sleep. So basically, as we conclude this engaging session, we would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to Mr. Gaius Ufondu for his invaluable insights on the science of sleep, why rest is essential. His expertise and thoughtful guidance will surely help others in navigating their sleep cycle and how to reduce their stress so that they can have a healthy body and a fresh mind every early in the morning. And we also thank you all for being such wonderful participants today. Adore is a non-profit organization committed to motivating youth and providing volunteer opportunities for individuals passionate about making a positive impact. Before we leave, please take a moment to fill out the feedback form shared in the chat. Your feedback helps us improve and offer even better programs in future. Thank you once again, and we look forward to seeing you at our future webinars. Have a great evening ahead. Thank you, sir. That was such a good session.
Thank you so much.
And